Guys, if you are not posting on social media with your face, you don't have your profile picture as your face, you're not identifying yourself as like a character on the screen on your profiles and social media, you are losing a huge market. We're going to start off with a quote, as always. The most valuable asset in your business is your face and your personality. People want to connect with people, not logos. This is from Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V, in his book Crushing It in 2018. What drives business? People, brands drive business, right? You know, in this industry, photography, videography, artistry, this is a people-oriented business. This is a business where people creatively collaborate, people communicate ideas, people share ideas, people appreciate things together. It's very communal. People want to connect with people, not, insert name, then media, or insert name, then production, or insert whatever name and like a shoots or something. That's just boring. If you're trying to establish a personal brand, you're trying to establish yourself as a creator, you want to be able to show someone, hey, this is the person you'd be dealing with on a shoot, or this is the person that wants to teach you something about yourself or wants to be a creator. You got to put your face to the forefront, guys. So important. I see people with, profile pictures of like a logo or something, and they're just a solo one-man band shooter. And it's like their name and then shoots. When meanwhile, it should be a nice portrait of themselves as the profile picture, and then their just name or their creative name as the username, not like a media or shoots or whatever. You want to show someone you're the person. You're the person they'd be dealing with on a shoot. You're the person that's the creator. You got to bridge yourself to the creative vision. And you're not doing that by throwing just some logo on a profile picture or not posting yourself. Some people forget they're following a person. It's just like you're just showing them photos and photos and photos and like, wait, what does this guy even look like? This helps for both collaborators, but also clients too. How do we fix this? The biggest step to take is to just simply start showing your face, whether it's on stories, like profile picture, like I said, iPhone videos on TikTok or something. Just start and don't wait for the perfect conditions. Don't worry about the perfect lighting and audio. Just start to build that muscle of being able to talk in front of a camera even. I think that's so important. Some people have fear of talking on camera, fear of public speaking, or different things. But there's so many benefits to be had for both your business and your personal brand if you start showing up in front of the camera, putting a face to the brand, putting a face to the name. You should be posting reels about what you're passionate about in the creative space. Tutorial videos, could be videos like this where you're giving advice to people, could be advertising your video services, literally anything under the sun. TikTok's a very casual place nowadays to put literally any type of video. For videos like this, I generally make an outline and then, come up with a topic to talk about. But TikTok is a great training ground to just post whatever the hell you want to post. TikTok is just a great training ground to just post whatever you want to post. Once you start getting more comfortable in front of the camera as opposed to being behind it, man, that's a skill in and of itself. You become a better communicator. It helps your business. You get better in communicating like this. That's going to show up on shoots. That's going to show up on client interaction. That's going to show up on collaboration. It's going to show up on directing. It only helps, guys. Doing Instagram Reels where you're talking about topics and almost becoming like an authoritative figure on photo editing or artistry or video editing or color grading, whatever it is, whatever value-oriented space. It shows people that you are who you say you are. It shows people that you are knowledgeable and you can build that trust with potential clients. The client sees, oh, wow, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. Maybe I should book him for a shoot, or maybe I should talk to him about this. And also helps with, like I said, collaborators, other creators. They show, this guy knows what he's talking about. Maybe I should give him a follow. This guy knows what he's talking about. Maybe I should invest some money and time into buying his course or joining his community. Things of that nature, guys. But I think, when a lot of people start this whole like influencer style videos or like talking about things and trying to get their name out there, trying to establish a personal brand, they often forget that the most important part is you being yourself. A lot of people try to put on this whole like influencer like personality, like overexcited, weird, like fake personality almost. That's just not who you are. You got to be yourself in front of the camera. And I know it's uncomfortable, but once you start practicing, just, hey, don't try to put on a persona. I'm just going to be myself in front of the camera. I'm going to talk. I'm going to generate value for people. You start separating. You start hedging yourself up in the market because you are being you. You are the value. You are the market differentiator, your personality. Don't be uptight, in your posture and your words. Like, just be yourself. There's so many like hidden cues you can see with people that show they're uncomfortable or they're trying to be someone else on camera. Just act like you're talking to a friend. You build that sort of mental muscle of being in front of the camera, starting a personal brand, getting your voice to the forefront. It's just everything starts to click, and then you're like, hey, this is actually who I am as a personal brand. Now I'm really differentiating myself from other people. Guys, people buy from people they can relate to and people they like. It's that simple. You can say the same thing as the other guy about the same topic. Let's say it's, I don't know, how to edit a photo. Anyone could teach you, anyone on the sun can teach you how to edit a photo if you have an internet connection, right? You can be taught by hundreds of people. There's hundreds and thousands of videos online, resources online. So why do people like being taught by certain people? When, wait, I could just go online for free and just watch, I don't know, the tutorial on how to edit photos. Why am I paying for a course from this guy when all of the stuff he's saying is really just free on the internet and I could probably figure it out myself? It's because you've invested yourself into their personal brand. It's because they are themselves. So if you're going to make a tutorial about, photo video editing, people are going to watch it because it's you teaching. It's not the other guy. It's you. Your personal brand starts to become the differentiator that you've been looking for. And then it becomes not only you're getting the value, but you're investing time into someone's brand because you resonate with them, because you can relate with them. There are people out there that are like you, that are similar to you, and that can relate to you. You just haven't found them yet. You just need to keep posting. And eventually those people will gravitate towards your stuff once you start being yourself. It's weird because I didn't start out with my own voice and being comfortable in front of the camera. I used to put on a weird personality, be tense in front of cameras, kind of fall in line with this like, typical influencer tone and all these things. And I'm like, what am I doing? I got to start being myself. Once I surrendered and started just being myself in front of cameras and making videos like this, I saw more positive results. People were like, hey, wow, that is actually you on camera. And I'm being taught by you. And I'm receiving information by you, not by someone that you're trying to be. And social media is the training grounds for this, guys. Like I said, a lot of people, even in the photo and video space, are shy and timid. I'm sure you've met photographers and videographers and guys that just kind of want to be, behind the camera. They don't want to be in front of the camera in the forefront, But if you're someone who wants to take this seriously, you're someone who wants to be, wants to establish a personal brand, a style, a voice, you got to get rid of that introverted mentality. And you got to differentiate yourself by being yourself, like I said. And, social media is the training grounds because there is no pressure. You put the camera on and it's you and no one else in the room. You can practice your heart out. We all have the tools for it. All these photographers and videographers, we all have $1,000 cameras, $3,000 cameras, $4,000 cameras. We have the tools to do this. You can buy little lavalier wireless DJI mics. We all have the tools to make content, to establish ourselves online and build a personal brand, but we're not doing it. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. The value outweighs the uncomfortability that you kind of have to deal with when you first start doing like these kind of videos when you're in front of the camera. You may not enjoy it. You may never enjoy it being in front of the camera, but I'm telling you, you literally are getting ahead of people that aren't doing it by doing Reels, TikToks, all these things, by speaking about what you're passionate about. You have the advantage over someone who's not doing it. And, sometimes you don't even need to be posting polished social media content to get your voice out there, to establish a personal brand. Whenever a challenge comes up in your creative pursuits, like for me, I could probably name a few challenges off the bat. I'm editing a documentary, which is very hard to organize and edit and kind of, conceptualize in my head and then bring the edit to reality, going through thousands of clips. It's a very daunting and new process. So that's something I could talk about in a TikTok. Hey, well, I'm struggling with this in video editing. Why don't I make a video on it? Because I feel like other people might be struggling with this too. And more often than not, you'll find people that are also struggling with the thing that you're struggling. And then you establish that relationship. Now it's like, hey, it's like bonding through struggle. So, whenever a challenge comes up in your photo or video career, whether it's in your workflow, whether it's in your on-shoot, experience that you may have had, and you're like, wow, I should probably share this with people. This is an interesting thing that people can relate to. Whip out your phone, make a TikTok about it, make a reel about it, post on social media. Use social media for the social part. I think people forget that. It's become such a business thing nowadays. Ben Hargreaves, his Instagram handle is Life Through Optics, taught me a very valuable tip on our episode a while back. He was episode 3. And he said, sell your sawdust. What does this mean? You just should be making content on stuff that you're doing. Because you're not going to necessarily go out of your way if you're just talking about something that you just normally do anyways. So, for example, let's say you're rigging your camera up for a shoot. Okay, well, whether I make a video or not right now, I have to rig out my camera for a shoot. So why don't I make the video while rigging out the camera of the shoot? You're selling your sawdust. You're working. You're on a shoot or you're preparing for a shoot. That's something you have to do. So you might as well just take a video of it and build out your camera and just post on social media. And it took you zero effort or going out of your way because you would have had to build out the camera anyways. Another great example is BTS content or POV content on shoot. You still have to do the shoot. You're just putting a little camera on your head, getting all the content of things you already have to be doing anyways. So it's like selling your sawdust. You're not going out of your way. You're just showing people what you do at minimal effort. Maybe you have to edit the video a little bit. Okay, boo-hoo. But it's not like you're lighting a whole studio and having to dedicate hours and hours to something. It's like, no, just make it easy for yourself, because when a habit is easy to do, you'll do it more. This is what I said in the creative writing episode. There is proof that this works, guys. In my own career, I've experienced that it does work. I've had clients tell me on shoots. So I'll be on a shoot with, like, let's say, a client I've established a relationship with, I've done multiple shoots for. I've had clients say, like, hey, I actually like those videos that you put out, those little tutorials about how to edit a photo or color grade or all those BTS clips. Like, those are super cool and interesting to see from you. And these people aren't even in the industry. They're not videographers. They're not photographers. They don't need to know how to edit a photo in Lightroom or a color grade on DaVinci Resolve. They're not doing those things. But they like it. It shows them that, hey, I'm credible in this space. It's almost like reinforcing their trust with me. Like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about because he made a reel on how to edit a photo and did this whole in-depth thing. I have the confidence to keep booking him for a shoot because he knows what he's doing. Because he knows what he's talking about. He is who he says he is. He's showing the behind-the-scenes work. He's showing all of the authenticities of being a creator. I trust this guy. And when you have a trust with a client, man, that's all you could ever need. And like I said, they don't even edit the photos. They don't even edit videos. But it still benefits you because they're acknowledging the fact that you are putting out this content. You are taking that extra step. You are establishing that trust. I've also had people DM me just on like Instagram or TikTok after they found a reel about me or TikTok about me talking about a certain camera or lens or whatever tutorial, and they hit me up with a shoot or that leads to income. It's like, it's crazy. The power that your value generated content or your personal brand can bring you. It can bring you more shoots. It can establish better trust with clients and also your followers. You could do all sorts of things. You can make you a better communicator. Guys, these are all benefits. So I'm telling you, if you're scared to get in front of the camera, you feel uncomfortable, embrace it. Keep putting in reps. Get better at communicating. Be yourself. Provide value. And I'm telling you, you could transform your career. If you guys enjoyed this episode of Vision Media Club, don't forget to leave a subscribe if you're on YouTube or leave a 5-star review if you're on Spotify. And stay tuned for future videos. We're going to have guests on the podcast, individual episodes with lessons, and all the while creating a community of like-minded creators. Thanks.